Okay, so we are live. I hope I'm audible to everyone who will be watching this. This is the very first live stream on the YouTube channel. Previously, the name of the YouTube channel was Blocksphere, and now it is QRL, and that's what this entire live stream is about. Right, it is about QRL. What is QRL? QRL, QAI, whatever, like what's going on basically. And also, it's been a long time since anything has actually premiered on the YouTube channel. I think it's been almost an year, if I'm not wrong, that I know anything has premiered at all on the YouTube channel. So it was also a high time that I put something on the channel, right? And it is a special occasion that I'm doing a first live stream on YouTube channel, and after the launch of QRL, and while wearing a very special T-shirt. So yeah, a very special T-shirt as well. And there are like many plans for QRL, and that is the reason for creating this live stream. Yeah. Okay. Let me share the screen and let's get started with this session. Mm, okay. So for people who have known me, so I've been very active on LinkedIn, uh, you know, for this year, last year, but I wasn't much active on YouTube. So people who are following me there on LinkedIn, they know the story, my story, right? I started with this project, Quantum Glasses, that I created in 2021, if I'm not wrong, when I was a student myself. And the project really, got me a lot of popularity because of the uniqueness of the project, right? Because before, so when I open source this project, created this project, which is basically a quantum software, right? So most of the tutorials and content related to quantum computing or quantum AI, whatever it was largely just theoretical, right? So it was just what are qubits, direct notations, quantum algorithms, but it was just pure math, right? But when I created quantum glasses and created a 4 hour long tutorial video to explain the project and how I created it, that was something new, and people saw that you can actually create quantum softwares. So that was pretty cool, and that it received a great response. So so the story started with this open source project, right? And it was my very first quantum computing project in 2021 when I started my quantum computing journey. Flash, like just fast forward to uh, 2025, and uh, I'm happy to announce the release of qrl-qai, which is a Python framework, and what it is, right? So let's describe what is qrl-qai. And if you are following OpenAI from a long time, so OpenAI is the company that released ChatGPT, right? It's the company behind ChatGPT. And if you know them, when OpenAI started, they released a Python framework, a Python library that was called Gym. The reason being, so what was Gym? Gym was basically a Python framework dedicated to reinforcement learning. So previously, the thought process was that reinforcement learning is the path to AGI. It is the key branch of AI that will lead us to very intelligent systems. That was the thought process, and OpenAI also had very similar thought process, and that's why they were working a lot on this RL side of things. They were not alone. It was Google DeepMind was also very actively working on reinforcement learning. Later on, generative AI just came in, ChatGPT came up, and then it just completely changed everything, and generative AI's boom started. But before that, reinforcement learning was what people believed in. And I am someone who still believes in reinforcement learning because generative AI is it's good, it performs well, but And again, reinforcement learning is indeed used inside generative AI. So when you're training these models, reinforcement learning does play a role there, but it is not the primary component, you can say, maybe. But I believe that reinforcement learning in itself is really important, and not just classical, but quantum reinforcement learning. And that thought process is what gave rise to qrl-qai. So what is qrl-qai? It is basically an attempt to create a quantum analog of the OpenAI's GEM framework that was previously released, right? And so this is the GitHub that you are seeing right now. And if you see here, so QRL itself is much bigger than qrl-qai, something that I wanted to, just clarify. But right now, the focus will be just on qrl-qai and not anything else. There will be some efforts that would focus on the YouTube channel, which is also QRL now. Some edtech side of things, you may see some course releases, but nothing more than that, at least for this particular year, or maybe next half of until June 2026, we won't see anything else. Complete focus will be on qrl-qai. And just a couple of days back, I released this version 0.1.0, right? So this version was just released, and what does it offer? So if I show you the release notes on GitHub itself, so everything is open source, everything is just available. And if you see what is included right now, so I've included 5 quantum native RL environments, quantum computing native RL environments, you can say. And I've tried to very thoughtfully pick all of them. The first one is Blocksphere. So quantum glasses that I described so much about. At core it had Blocksphere. So it was a quantum software that helped you to understand effects of quantum single qubit quantum gates on on the state of the qubit using Blocksphere visualizations. So Blocksphere v0 environment is pretty much the same sort of thing, and I know I love Blocksphere, so it had to be there. And it's a very fundamental aspect of quantum computing as well, conceptually, as well as if you talk about visualization, right? Then comes compiler v0, which is another environment. Again, this then tries to be on the side of quantum compilation, which is is a very important part. Compilation, transpilation. It's at the core of all frameworks of quantum computing, right? So that's the second environment. Then error channel v0, which then comes on the side of error correction and noise and those things, which is another very important frontier in quantum computing. And then we have expressibility, which is a very important metric, especially for quantum machine learning. So that's the fourth environment. And probability v0, probability is at the core of all of quantum computing, right? So that's another environment. And if you look here, what highlights, like what the highlights are, it follows the same architecture, just like other GEM environments. So, all the GEM environments, the OpenAI's Python framework, all the environments included in that framework followed a typical structure, right? And the way I'm building qrl-qai, it follows the similar same structure, but the core is changed. It's completely quantum now. And what's next? The thought process is to include more native quantum computing environments, just like the 5 that are already available in the release, and also quantum analogues of the existing environments in OpenAI GEM, right? So, for example, CardPole will exist in the framework, but it will be a quantum analog. So, there will be changes in the way environment works. It will still be a CardPole, but it won't be classical CardPole. there will be major modifications to it, right? So that is the thought process that, so, one, provide environments that are very core to, quantum computing, provide such environments. And the second part is provide, quantum analogs of those classic uh, environments of OpenAI, right? And then there will be repos and much, much more things that will be there in the, framework. And to discuss that, I have included a roadmap here. If you see, this is the development roadmap, and so I will try to create a very nice visualization for you guys. So right now, we have the version 0.1.0, right? And 0.x, all the 0.x releases will completely focus on such wrappers and providing core environments that will be very unique to qrl-qai, right? That will be the complete focus of this phase of 0.x. All the versions 0.x, they will completely focus on environments and wrappers, right? Then we will move on to phase 1.x, as you can see, and I'll try to implement all the classical reinforcement learning algorithms like Q-learning, policy-based PPO, all the well-known classical reinforcement learning algorithms. Once we have those implementations ready, we will move from phase 1.x to release phase to phase point x basically. And those releases later will include quantum RL algorithms, right? So we have quantum analogs of classical RL algorithms, like QQ learning and stuff. And it's a very, dynamic research landscape for quantum reinforcement learning. So, things just keep coming all the time, right? So until we complete phase 1.x, I'm sure there will be many more things already there, and we will have then phase 2.x, and we'll try to compile all the core quantum reinforcement learning algorithms. And once that is done, we will move to phase 3.x. Well, I'll try to connect it to tools, and there are plans for it. One aspect would be also, optimize better. So right now, the framework is based on PennyLane and PyTorch and Gymnasium. These are the three pillars of the framework right now, but I'll try to, you know, do something and migrate to other tools, maybe migrate to Rust. It'll depend how it goes off, right? And it will be integrated in other libraries and frameworks for qrl-qai. So there are like many plans that would come up in phase 3.x, and obviously if you follow and subscribe the channel, you will know when it happens. Phase 4.x is when we will include very high edge, cutting edge research environments and workflows in qrl-qai. So up until phase 2.x, it's very basic, and I plan to cover it up as fast as possible. Phase 3.x is where things get really crucial of optimizing and integration with other external tools. Then we will have phase 4.x where things will get industry level, research level, very, very amazing. And then once we initiate phase 4.x, then that there will be no stopping. It will just keep like will keep on including new things in the framework, and eventually it will be basically the final product, right? So once that happens, once the phase 4.x is initiated, the framework will be in a very good shape, right? And what's in it for you right now? If you see, I have already included a contribution, file where you can just read and see, you can just report bugs, suggest features, to improve. You can, improve documentation, write code, always initiate pull requests, and just it's a standard open source project, right? So you can always, contribute to this project the way you would contribute to any other open source project, right? And but whenever you are trying to contribute, please go through this roadmap see what is the version right now. So you can please go through this roadmap and try to make the contributions accordingly. And you can also always see the latest release here on GitHub itself, right? So right now you can see it's version 0.1.0. Version 0.1.1 is also coming very soon. There are a few minor changes in the architecture of the environments and certain tests that certain bug that came in the release that will be is resolved there, and a few new things will be added on the repo as well. So it's a minor release. It will be 0.1.1. Other than that, right, if you have any feature ideas or anything that you wish to convey to me at the very end of the repo, you can see I've added my contact details. So it's a link to my LinkedIn profile. There you can send me a message and I'll definitely reply you. I'll try to reply you. And if you don't want to rely on LinkedIn, you can directly drop an email at jay.shah@qrl-qai.com. And you can just send in your feature suggestions or any ideas or whatever you feel like, right? So even if you are not a coder, maybe you're not good at coding, maybe you're just still learning, but you have a feature request or something, anything, you can either raise it here on GitHub, or if you don't know how to do that, and I've given you a very simple option of just writing a simple email to me, and I'll definitely try to get back, or if I do implement your feature or resolve the bug you report it, I'll definitely let you know. Other than that, another special announcement is here, which is the website for QRL, which is not just QRL QAI, but it's for everything QRL. So you can see it's a very basic website right now. I have not implemented much yet, but that would, and that's sort of the philosophy for QRL, that get things out there first. They don't have to be necessarily perfect, but you just get them out there, build fast, ship fast, fail fast, learn fast, right? So that is the thought process for QRL. So the website is out there. Soon it will be, it will have a makeover. It will look better than this, but there's the official website out there. Just wanted you to know. And yeah, that's pretty much. And for the license, it's the standard Apache 2.0 license. You can see here, it's already included in the repo as well. And how do you use this? Obviously, it is a pip package. I think I should have mentioned this earlier. You can simply install it with pip. So it's just pip install qrl-qai. If you see here at the bottom, it's there here, right? Pip install qrl-qai, and that's it. You will be, to go. So that's pretty much it, right? Quantum and what framework will it use in the background? So it basically, as I mentioned, right, it uses PyTorch, PennyLane, and Gymnasium as the three major frameworks, right? PyTorch is for everything deep learning, right? The RL algorithms and those things. PennyLane is the quantum backend, for executing quantum circuits and all. And Gymnasium is for to make it to make all the quantum environments compatible with the existing Gymnasium library. So that's why Gymnasium comes into the picture. Does it use QPU? No, right now it uses simulation, but as you can see, all the environment versions, they are V0, right? So there was environment, with error channel, right, as well. So compilation and compiler V0 is also there. So as we will mature those environments, right, from V0 to V1 and then V2, so it will migrate from, a simple right now it is simulation, but it will soon migrate to actual hardware as well. But since it was V0, I've tried to keep it just simulation, right? So that everyone can use it. But definitely, as these environments get more mature, the idea is indeed to, make, these environments use actual hardware, actual QPU. Yeah. And I believe that was pretty much it for the very first live stream on the YouTube channel. Uh, yeah, and the plan is to keep these you know live streams happening, right? Just to make sure that every weekend or so I'll try to come live and discuss whatever has happened, release, or whatever is going on with QRL. I'll try to do it. Currently on classical system, how QRL would be different? Can you elaborate? So, say QRL, as the name suggests, right? And I discussed the roadmap that first, there is, so you see how qrl-qai is completely different from the Gymnasium framework or so, right? Number one, it provides you core quantum computing environments, native quantum environments, right? Right now there are 5. There will be more. They are already in works. There will there will be more environments. So that is the first part. So you can use your classical algorithms, classical RL algorithms on native quantum environments. That's the first part. To test out native quantum computing concepts. That is the first part. Second part, QRL will allow you to actually test quantum reinforcement learning algorithms. So for example, if you go out there, just go through literature review of quantum reinforcement learning or so, you will definitely see quantum reinforcement learning algorithms being used in very important aspects like qubit calibration, for example, all these hardware aspects, right? So right now, all of these things are just with companies who are working on it, right? But qrl-qai will standardize all those things as environments. That is the thought process, to you know give quantum environments to everyone and quantum algorithms to everyone, right? So, for example, any quantum RL algorithm that you would like to execute, you will be just able to call it from QRL, right? And you will be directly be able to execute it uh, on any environment, classical or quantum, right? And there will be also, you know, uh, wrappers that will allow you to test classical and quantum agents in the same environment. There will be also such environments where you'll be able to, you know, compete, make your classical and quantum agent compete with each other. So that's this also there are also such things, right? So there are there are grand plans for QRL, and this is just a very simple initial start for QRL with qrl-qai. But as things go forward, I hope that this open source effort matures into something really important, something really good, right? And that's pretty much it. Thanks for people who joined, who put the questions in the chat box. Thanks a lot. And maybe I'll see you again in the next week, discuss the new features released, right? And we'll develop these things together. Thanks a lot for joining.